Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business-to-business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's about the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I'm Seth. I'm here with Dan Bennett, video for entrepreneurs. He is part of the lab that Jay Klaus has put together, his little clubhouse, and I've known Dan through there for about at least a year now. Dan is the guru. I know people hate that word. I shouldn't even use that word, but he's the guru of video and also making your background look snazzy. Of course, this is an audio podcast. Maybe with Dan we'll get some video up there because he has a really cool background with planets and suns and monitors. I mean, he is the video guy. He kind of has to look the part. So Dan is in Dallas, Fort Worth, and he has clients all over the darn place, don't you?
The only downside is keeping track of time zones. That's about it.
Oh, it's the worst. Especially when they're in Europe and there's like 3 in there, and it's like you think there's Europe. No. There's Greenwich. Yeah. And then during the summer, it's British changes an hour. Then there's Central European. Oh, we have 4. I can just barely. We have 4, right? Yeah, we have 4. Yeah. So you're Central Time, so it's 8:00, 8:30 where you are. It's 9:30 where I am. Am I right with that?
Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty neutral. Yeah.
You're pretty neutral. You just show up. Exactly. So Dan, how long have you been doing this video thing for?
A little over 15 years professionally now in some capacity or another. Yeah. Used to do a little bit of film, television, music videos, all the fun stuff. And then I did a lot of corporate work with a lot of big companies.
Pays better.
And fell in love with entrepreneurs and small business about 7.5 years ago and really put my focus there.
That's awesome. And so then you're a recent transplant to Texas. You're not Texan.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Nope. And I'm not going to judge either way. So where are you from originally?
Yeah, Flint, Michigan, born and raised. Yeah,
so you went due south. Yeah, west-ish.
Yeah, about 12.5-hour drive.
Ouch. And that must have been a heck of a move.
It was fun. It was 2 trucks. So yeah.
One truck was all your video gear, right?
Right.
All Dan's toys are one, and then everyone else is over there. So Michigan. So you're from. So you grew up and lived in Flint.
Yep.
In a much colder climate, of course. Now it's global warming.
Yeah.
You're getting frost down there, which is kind of like I thought I escaped that. So.
Yeah, 3 days a year. It reminds me of home.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. And so you help entrepreneurs and small businesses kind of get a handle on video, which I think is very handy right now because everything's on video now, especially for the past 3 years, especially. People have been like, oh, no, I actually had to at least put the top half of my clothes on, like, and then, oh, crap, I can't have my bed in the background. Oh, crap, I have to make my bed. Oh, crap, I shouldn't even have my bed in the background. I should be in a different room. Oh, crap, I got to fix that room and piss off my child because he's losing his playroom now that he never uses. Sorry, inside, but, So it's been going well. You have your own little community as well. How's that going? How many people are in that community?
Where are we? I think we're in the mid 40s now.
Wow.
It's kind of cool because the community is an ongoing educational like support for everything that I sell. So whether I work with you on gear, or you're part of my cohort, or we work one-on-one, I give access to the community along with those products, so you're not orphaned once our work is done. And
I love that.
People seem to really like
Sir
that.
J's model, kind of.
Yeah, it membership as a support. Yeah,
membership as a support, which I like that because then it's also I read Mark Schaefer's book on belonging to the business, belonging to the community. I should know the name of the book, but and it's all about how businesses are using community to help them actually support themselves. So someone can ask a question, "Hey Dan, how do I do X, Y, Z?" But then Joe can say, "Oh, I can figure that out," And then it's self-convening, which is nice. So it's not all on you all the time.
Yep, and that definitely does happen. The fruit of a lot of that work comes out of the cohort, which is a 4-week intensive, and they're in the community already. They just don't have access to the whole thing. And then after 4 weeks, I open up the rest of the community, so they're already familiar with how it works, where the buttons are, how to post, how to help, how to ask questions.
It's kind of hard in Circle. Every once in a while, you're like, wait. The latest thing with Circle is that you have to, if you X out, it's the post stays there, and then we'll complain about Circle offline. But anyhow, but Circle is when you say they already know where the buttons are. Dan's not joking. You have to kind of figure out the community and how things work. Every form software is different. So Dan, you've worked in house companies and whatnot. What is the best thing about being out of house, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur?
Well, I come from an engineering background, so I had like the dingy 70s office, no window, a bunch of boring introverts surrounding me, which I'm an introvert too, but I'm not boring. So that was always rough. And I went into that career internally interesting. Right. I went into that career because I had a teacher in high school. It's like, you're really good at drafting. You should check this out. And then I went into the engineering field and found out that a 95+% of it is just rehashing old drawings for a new client, not actually creating brand new things. So
that's not fun.
Yeah, did not like it. Left that in my mid-20s and moved towards being my own boss in one capacity or another. So I've been self-employed for, about 23 years now.
Wow.
On my own for 7.5.
Jeez, you've done it longer than I have. I'm 15 years into it.
Nice. Yeah, I think anything over like 5 and you're like, okay, this is a new way of life.
No, if you make it past 5, you're probably going to stay doing it, and you're also probably unemployable.
Yeah.
Those two things. That's what I found. It's like I can work with other companies. I can work on other companies. I can't work in other companies unless I have some say in how I work things.
I've turned down some lucrative offers for the creative director position at some companies because I'm like, there's just no way. And I know that about myself nowadays.
And I'm sure it hurts a little bit. You're like, that could be nice. Oh,
yeah.
That could just sit around and remodel the bathroom. Oh,
not think. Yeah.
but then you're the creative director with less control. And that's the thing.
100%.
Because you still have to answer to someone else who thinks they are the creative director when they're really not. So, So what's the scariest thing about being an entrepreneur? What keeps you up at night?
Nowadays, I've been doing it so long. Nowadays, it's failing my clients. It's not even about me anymore. It's putting something in place that really doesn't work for someone and knowing that they paid me to help them put that in place. So that's probably the biggest worry nowadays.
I don't love that that's a worry, but I love the answer.
Yeah. It's true. In the beginning, it was a lot of emotional attachment to my work.
Yes.
And then changes and opinions and critiques. And it's really wearing on the soul. But I grew out of that, a few years back. And nowadays it's all about the client. So that's what
I think it takes 5 years to do that. Because as Goals to Me version 1, it was very much like, how dare you critique what I made for you? And then it Goes to Me version 2, after I did a stint in corporate, it was like, oh, I get it now. It's about the client, not about me. What a surprise, that kind of thing. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Yeah.
We know you listen to Marketing Podcast Network shows like this one because you are smart, discerning, and have impeccable taste. We've been brainstorming ways to reward you for listening and have something. MPN is a proud sponsor of the Creator Economy Expo 2023. That means you get a discount. This event is for content creators and entrepreneurs interested in building and growing their content-first businesses. Join over 500 bloggers, podcasters, authors, newsletter writers, speakers, coaches, consultants, and freelancers at the learning and networking event for content creators. Plan to attend May 1st through the 3rd in Cleveland, Ohio, and just for listening to the Marketing Podcast Network, you get $100 off your ticket. Go to cex.events to register. Use the coupon code MPN100. That's cex.events. Just type that into your browser, the whole thing, cex.events, the code MPN100. Creator Economy Expo, Cleveland, May 1st through the 3rd. See you there.
Yeah, and it makes it easy to do the work now. One of my sayings I say all the time is like, entrepreneurs are already awesome. I just help them capture that and get it in front of the right people. So it's not about what I create for them. It's me helping them be their best. And it's a lot more fun.
Oh, I bet. Because, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs will think, I mean, everyone thinks that everything's come up with already. People have already thought of everything. You'd be surprised. There's stuff, even if everything's been done at least once, the takes that people have on things. I'm working with a startup right now that's like rethinking funding for small donations to like political campaigns. So you actually have a say in what, like, almost can lobby the people. I'm like, wow. So he's taking the small donation thing, like Act Blue, that's done already and works somewhat well, and doing this spin on it. And I'm like, that's just cool. I love how things evolve.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment for sure. I'm very fortunate in the fact that I work with a ton of different kinds of entrepreneurs and professionals. It's not all one industry, so I get to see so many cool things behind the scenes. One of my clients, Laura, runs a startup in the UK called Teacher Tap.
Ooh.
And all these teachers in the UK just answer 2 or 3 quick questions on an app every day, and they get all this real-time data in, and then they use that to inform policy and all that kind of stuff and give teachers a voice. So I love seeing people take tech that already exists, like
and
you're
make
saying.
It simple too. It's really neat.
Simple,
3 questions. You can do that while you're brushing your. Well, I mean, not while you're brushing your teeth. Between brushing your teeth and getting your clothes on, you can answer 3 questions.
Yep.
Not to be specific or anything like that. You can do it whenever you want, really. But yeah. That's fun. And that's one thing I like about entrepreneurship is that you're able to. It's not just one thing. Even if you niche down a little bit, even in one niche, everyone's different, and there's always different. What do you think about niching? Do you believe in niching, or do you think it's kind of silly?
That's a great question, and I'm not just saying that. So you almost have to, even if it's not through your marketing and messaging per se, you almost have to do the exercise to then come back out towards generality and then stop where it makes sense, right?
Right.
It used to be, anyone who needs to be on camera, I can help. And for the first time in my career, I was ahead of the curve because everyone coming in off the shutdown from COVID was like, help. And I'm like, I've been on Zoom for years. Come, I'll help you. And
right
then,
place, right time.
Yeah. So that was very general. And I had to continue to niche to be able to put my voice out and actually cut through and then expand back out a little bit through the content that I create. So helping entrepreneurs look and sound great on camera is the goal. And then kind of the 3 topics I hit where I think a lot of video educators drop the ball is camera presence, storytelling, and actually having a video strategy instead of just making them and putting them places and hoping they work. And now that's my niche. Yeah. So it took some hyper focus and then going back out to where it made sense and it resonated and then holding steady there. So
I think I
believe in niching.
I think a lot of people forget that if you niche down, you don't have to stay niched down like all the way. You can do exactly what Dan did. Like I niched down to startups and biotech and mid-sized companies is more the general one. But it was startups and biotech, and then I brought it back out to mid-sized companies because I'm like, if they can afford, biotech has silly money in Philadelphia area. It's silly not to do with biotech and life sciences. And startups have the exact opposite problem. They need the money. And the mid-sized companies generally have some kind of money. So that kind of works out nicely. So I totally believe in, like what you said, is niche down and expand a little bit to kind of find your perfect focus.
Yeah, totally. And
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was going to say I had a similar journey in working a lot with SaaS companies and small startups because they have all these incredible engineers making these awesome products and have no idea how to talk about them to the average person. So I would come in and help them, develop story around like your tool's incredible, someone like me needs to understand how it works. So all this jargon in your video does not help. Let's fix that. So
Oh, they're really good at jargon. They're
so good
really
at jargon.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I have to fight that
Sorry.
from having film in my background. I have to very carefully talk about the theories and aspects of making great videos so I don't overwhelm entrepreneurs who already have a bunch on their plate. So I
have
stay
their
away
own
from
jargon. They have their own
right.
jargon.
They do. They do.
So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? Both, either it can be physical, it can be mental, it can be metaphysical, it can be theoretical.
So jokingly, I have this pie chart I use when I do like workshops and stuff like that. And it's the only like graph that I ever use. And I say jokingly because it serves a purpose, but it's like from my engineering background, right? So I always poke fun at that. And it's a very, very accurate graph of my work, the work that I do. And it's cut into 4 pieces. 3 of those pieces are 5% each. So they're very small slivers. And the big piece of the pie is 85%. Wow. And this is very, very true no matter who I work with, what they're trying to do, where they're coming from. 5% is strategy. It's super important. I built a big part of my business around it. It's still only 5%. Wow. 5% is tech. So we're talking about the equipment, the software you use to edit, the social media placement, whatever, the tech. 5% is distribution. Where's it going to go? What's it going to do? What's the job to be done by this video or series of videos? And then 85% very, very literally. And then I go to the next slide and it's the whole thing. It's like I help entrepreneurs give themselves permission to be great on camera because they're already great, right? So a lot of the work I do is mindset. So if you see a video professional and he's like, hey, you want to get great at video? It's all about mindset. That's going to be a little weird. So I have to kind of trick people into it, if you will.
I love it.
And so I would say the thing to always carry with you is that mindset is really what we're trying to overcome, because you can have a smartphone and get a great video. You can buy a cheap $79 mic and sound good.
Yeah.
All these things are doable and doable fast. Today I'm going down to Austin to build a studio in a day. It can be done very, very fast.
That sounds like fun.
The next step, getting good on camera.
Yeah.
A lot of that's mindset. So keep that in your pocket.
I love that. So Dan, where can people find you online?
Try to keep it easy. Videofororentrepreneurs.com. Pretty much everything I do links out from there. And it's across the board. So if you go to YouTube, it's @Video for Entrepreneurs. You can find my channel. LinkedIn is Video for Entrepreneurs. So if you can remember Video for Entrepreneurs, you should be able to track me down somewhere.
Apparently, not people are not going to know this, but we had 3 takes. I couldn't get that right. So Video for Entrepreneurs. It should be easy. It will be in the show notes if you can't remember it, like I can't. But I remember now because I've done it 4 times now. And Dan, this has been so much fun, and it's been so great getting to know you in the lab and seeing how everyone's growing and expanding, and you also have a very cool background. I really like your background.
I appreciate it. I switch it out all the time because I'm never satisfied. So I got 3 main pieces of art that I switch out, and then I just make my monitors match it. So every few weeks.
Do you use those monitors for anything, or is it just this for style?
Yeah, it's my old editing PC from way back in the day, so it just powers those monitors now.
Oh, I love it. Hey, use old tech, recycle.
Yeah.
It's green, except for the power it uses, I'm sure, but whatever. Well, Dan, thanks for being on the show, and we'll see everyone next week.
Appreciate it.
That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them, and these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on NPN to help your business? Mike Carlin hosts a great podcast called Uncorking a Story. Mike, tell us what these fine folks will get when they listen.
Uncorking a Story profiles successful writers and authors to uncover how their background and life experiences influence the stories they create. We learn what motivates them, their path to success, and what fuels them to keep creating. And it all starts by asking one simple question: where does your story begin?
Ooh, interesting. Where can people subscribe?
You can follow the show at uncorkingstory.com, at marketingpodcast.net, or by searching for Uncorking a Story wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard him. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.